And that's something that I definitely suggest to anybody who's getting together on an app to do big conversation with your whole family. Do a screenshot and share it with everybody so that you have a photo of uh, documenting 2020, and this is what we did to be safe but still be together. Hi, it's Nani, and welcome to the Chronicles of Nani. I'm smiling a little bit more this week, which might be unexpected after last week. Last week, and it's amazing how what I'm planning on talking about, and I do a lot of preparation and take notes and everything. And I'll even look some stuff up. But what I'm planning on talking about can change even the night before I record. I know last week I was originally going to talk about holiday baking and how much I love baking during the holidays. And it turned into, I ended up feeling seasonal depression. It was snowing, and that was making me sad. And it just turned into a vlog with me talking about seasonal depression. And my voice is not coming and going because I was crying last night. I'm actually not totally sure why my voice is coming and going. But hey, this is a cyber coffee shop, so let's see if a little bit of not so cyber coffee can help. The coffee mug this week is just plain coffee mug with light blue coffee all over it. It's one of my favorite mugs because I do just like mugs, and even when you see my scrapbook, when the scrapbook, a lot of pages have word art that's lots of words and stuff. I just like lots of words. My father will tell you that when I learned my first word, I never shut up since then. Well, maybe that's why I like words so much, because I use them all the time. This week we were originally going to talk about, and I'm not saying that that's changed, we're still going to talk about talking to professionals and dealing with chronic illness and the holidays and how things can change. But last night I got a text from my brother. And the text was just simply, "Are you awake?" And yeah, I'm kind of a natural nocturne. So the last pills that I take are 1 o'clock in the morning pills. So I'm at least up until 1 in the morning. And I texted back, yes. And then my phone rang. And it was my brother and my sister-in-law, in the background. And they were watching my vlog that premiered yesterday that talked about how things changed. It went from, I'm going to talk about baking during the holidays, And then it became, I think I'm going to be introducing myself, saying hello, and that this is the last vlog ever. And then it went to, no, after talking to some friends, I'm going to talk about the fact that I've become seasonally depressed. Just the day that I taped it was snowing, and I had already decided I was going to talk about the fact that I was having issues with feeling depressed, just from everything, from the fact that I have no Christmas decorations in the house, and I've got a major project that I was working on, and I wasn't working on it. I was thinking about it and having my aide do all the work, and how that was just all making me feel just terrible. And my brother was concerned. In fact, I heard my sis in the background saying, this isn't really, you're not quitting, you're not stopping to do this. Because they actually watch all of my vlogs. And my brother, from the very first one, called to tell me that he was impressed with what I was able to do. So when he called last night and concerned about what was going on with me, was I feeling okay? And we just talked for a while about things that were going on, and I think Laura asked me if I had a Christmas tree. And no, I don't. I don't have any place to put a Christmas tree. So, I mean, my house is relatively void of any holiday spirit whatsoever, except that my stylist, in looking for a couple of sweaters that are still missing, found a candy cane pillow that I've had since forever ago. I have pictures of Kayline as a kitten, trying to get her to pose next to my holiday pillows for Christmas card. The Christmas card ended up having nothing to do with the pillows, because Kayline wanted to walk over the pillows and look at a bunch of other stuff on the bed. But I even have a picture of Marco next to the candy cane pillow now, because I have that out on my cedar chest, which is right in front of the chair that I usually sit in. So if nothing else, I can look over, and I'm looking in the direction of where the candy cane is right now. And there's nothing else in the house that's making me feel in the holiday spirit, except the wallpaper on my computer and that candy cane pillow. So that helped me feel better. The call from my brother helped me feel really good. Because while we were talking, and we were talking about Christmas, and Christmas is past, and he said, and he started the comment with, my absolute best Christmas Eve memory ever. And I sort of joined in, and I said, Bruce Springsteen, Santa Claus is coming to town. And he said, you and me driving home from Nani's without any parents. And I was 16, I had my driver's license. Dave was 15, and we drove home. It was an El Nino winter, so it was in the 50s or something like that, and it was raining, and we didn't care. We had the windows rolled down, and we're driving all the way from Detroit back to Northville, where we live. So it was a good 45-minute drive. And we've got the windows down, and we're listening to the water on the freeway. And when Bruce Springsteen, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, came on the radio, we cranked the radio up and we sang together. And it was interesting because we've never discussed, it's not that we've never talked about that before, but we've never, at least that I can remember, I never realized that we both absolutely share that as our best Christmas Eve memory ever. And that made me feel really good. What you're seeing now is a copy of the scrapbook page, scrapbook memory page that I did for actually that night, driving home, just the two of us, and enjoying that freedom of, we are, Dave drove in with Dad and Mom drove in with me in my car, and we got to drive home, just the two of us. And it was we're adults now. We don't have to have any adults with us. We are doing our own thing. And it was really liberating. It was fantastic. And the fact that we both recognize that as our fondest Christmas Eve memory. I'd always known that was my favorite memory. I hadn't realized that was his favorite memory too, and that was a very cool moment. And that's a story I wanted to share, because where I originally was going to talk about just Christmas stories and fond Christmas memories, and decided, nope, I'm going to talk about the depression and seasonal depression and how real that is. And I'm going to mix everything up a little bit, I think, because now I am going to talk a little bit about the reality of seasonal depression. Seasonal affective disorder, better known as, easier known as SAD, S-A-D. It is a very real type of depression, and exactly what causes it, not totally sure, because it can be a lot of different reasons, and there are people who suffer from SAD. It has nothing to do with chronic illnesses. It's just when the seasons start to change, they start feeling depression. It starts slow, it gets worse. According to the Mayo Clinic, the symptoms can include feeling depressed most of the day or nearly every day, losing interest in activities you once enjoyed, having low energy, having problems with sleeping, experiencing changes in your appetite or weight, feeling sluggish or agitated, having difficulty concentrating, feeling hopeless, worthless, or guilty, having frequent thoughts of death or suicide. I can tell you I've had a bunch of those. Not thoughts of death or suicide. Because no matter how many challenges I've got, I like my life too much. I can understand as light during the day, starts to dwindle, and which would explain why it's slower depression at first and then it gets worse. If SAD happens to be your primary disease, is that you do have the disorder from the seasons changing, um, and looking through the like I said again, the Mayo Clinic's symptoms for the disorder, having low energy and having either problems sleeping too much was also something that I saw on another. I did lots of research on this, but I did see sleeping too much as one of the other symptoms of SAD, and I'm thinking, okay, these sound like MS symptoms. A lot of them do, and so if something hits you during the holidays that makes you feel sad, sad in the clinical and just sad in the emotional form. Yeah, if you've already got symptoms from a chronic illness, and then you add to that some more symptoms from feeling bad because you're getting depressed, seasonally depressed, it can be really bad. And it can make you feel really bad. Now, fortunately, there are professionals that can help you. Whether SAD is your disease or SAD is added to your chronic illness, you can talk to a psychologist or therapist and let them know what's going on, what's making you depressed. It's not a therapist or a psychologist's job to fix you. Their job is to listen and ask you questions, make some suggestions, but ultimately it's to help you figure out how to help yourself. The therapist is not going to tell you, well, do this and you'll be fine. Because if you've got problems that are emotional or psychological problems, the answers are in here. The answers are not somebody else telling you what to do to fix it. Same thing as I can tell you what worked for me. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm saying, do this, it'll work, it'll make everything great. But I can give you some suggestions that will make you think, I guess what I'm trying to really suggest is talk to somebody, see a therapist. Most insurance covers that, no question. Because if you need to see a psychologist or a therapist, that's something they don't want to mess with. One thing that I've read suggested for depression and chronic illness is meditation. And I do realize that some people don't like that word meditation because it sounds new age and weird and everything else. But try not thinking about it as meditation. Just relax. Think about something that made you happy, something that's a holiday memory that makes you feel really good. I know one of my favorite memories. This was when I was working as an assistant editor for a wedding photographer. And one day he came in with a couple of huge books of old baseball cards. And I was looking through them, and he said, I really don't collect them anymore. If there's anything in there that you'd like, please go ahead and take it. And I knew that I was looking at some cards that were worth a lot of money. And I told him I can't accept that offer because rather than give them away, then sell the cards and get the money that you can get for the cards for your kids. But as I'm looking through this treasure of old cards, I did find a Roberto Clemente card. And my mother was a huge Roberto Clemente fan. And I did tell him, there's one card that I would love, because it was near Christmas time. And I said my mother was a huge Roberto Clemente fan. And if I could have the Roberto Clemente card, I would love to do that and give it to my mother. And he said, absolutely. And he again asked, are you sure there's nothing else that you'd like? And I couldn't do that. I mean, he had already given a fantastic spa gift for the holidays, and there was no way I was going to say, oh, and a few $100s worth of baseball cards would be great. But I did that one card I wanted to give to my mom, and he said, absolutely, go ahead. And I got a thick lucite cover for the card, and I wrapped it up, and it was in Mom's stocking. And I remember when she opened it, she was almost in tears. Just looking down and staring at the card, and it made me feel so good to watch her looking at that card, and to know that she just loved looking at the card and loved having the card so much, and that she seemed to think that's the best thing in the stocking, because for Christmases, Mom filled everybody's stockings, and I filled her stocking. So I was so glad to be able to do that. And I made sure that was in the absolute toe of the stocking, so it was the last thing that she opened. And I can, when I'm feeling bad during the holidays, I can just lay back and relax and think about that memory. And it does help me feel better, because it makes me remember my mother, and it makes me remember a gift that I was able to give her, and a very kind and generous boss that I worked for. In 2013, when I had finally realized that what I'd been feeling for over a year was actually depression, I mean the real thing, dark feeling inside that I couldn't shake. And I did go to see a psychologist. And when I was describing to her the feeling of darkness inside, where I used to feeling the bright, sunny feeling inside, because I've always been an optimist, and I've always been a person who smiles at everything and who finds the good in everything. And then I was going through about a year and a half where I could laugh at things, but they didn't feel funny inside. I could smile, and it was always fake when I smiled. Every time I smiled about anything, it felt fake. And she said, what you're describing definitely sounds like depression. I mean, serious depression. It's not that you're feeling bad. If you're never feeling good about anything, um, you are clinically depressed. Um, and if your natural way of thinking is a positive way of thinking, we can pull you out of that. But talk to me and tell me some things that are going on, where the depression started from. I mean, at this time, I'm already in a wheelchair. She did ask the right questions to get me to understand um, what was going on and what I needed to do, and to help me get in my own brain and get it straight, and to deal with what I was having problems with. And it took a little over half a year, but it worked. I was definitely open to her suggestions, and trying to let them get into my brain and help me understand what I was going through. This is what therapists and psychologists do. That's what they're trained to do. That's what they've studied many years to do, is not to fix you, but to know what questions to ask you so you can fix yourself. I'm going to finish up today. And by the way, I don't think earlier in the vlog, when I showed you the coffee mug, I told you what was in it. And that's actually kind of exciting. It's Private Selection Kroger House brand caramel truffle K-Cups. They taste fantastic. And it's a store brand, which is nice price-wise for a very tasty drink. I'm drinking mine black today, but you could definitely put sugar and cream and some whipped cream on top, and it makes a nice holiday treat too. I want to finish off today's vlog with one last story. It's actually a Thanksgiving story, but it's going into the realities of 2020 and going into the holidays, having been through Hanukkah. And I know there were plenty of people that at some point during that 8 days, or maybe every day during those 8 days, got the family together on a chat with the whole family, or did FaceTime or something like that. And I know that we're already making plans for Christmas and getting the family together on a chat on Christmas Day. This year on Thanksgiving, we did have a family chat. It was a few days after Thanksgiving, but we planned a family chat for Thanksgiving. And we got everybody together on Messenger chat, which there are lots. There's FaceTime Messenger, there's Zoom, there's, I know on the, actually it's WhatsApp. I know my dad and my brother and I have had three-way conversation where we could all see each other on that. So I'm sure a lot of the other apps, I'm pretty good with computers. I am absolutely not going to claim that I know everything that's out there that you can have multiple people chats. I don't think there's anybody that could say that they know everything that's out there. unless it's somebody in marketing that's in charge of knowing who the competition is for our piece of software, for our app. We had a chat with the whole family for Thanksgiving, which was kind of fun. It's a new thing for all of us being together. I'm hoping for Christmas that we could get both of my nieces to be present. Tori was definitely there, and Rena was sort of in the background, and every now and then she would say something, or Tori would change the phone over. They did do me the favor for the Thanksgiving family photo of Rena got in so that they were both in the picture. But my aunt was voice only on the chat, and my husband was voice only. Although I did get him to do a selfie that I put in for our Thanksgiving photo. And just by doing a screenshot, that was still kind of neat. And that's something that I definitely suggest to anybody who's getting together on an app to do big conversation with your whole family. Do a screenshot and share it with everybody so that you have a photo of documenting 2020, and this is what we did to be safe but still be together. So definitely take advantage of those things. We have lots of different ways that we can communicate with each other, and let's not stop taking advantage of that you can actually see somebody face to face. And I have all of you that are watching and that send me emails or make comments on the vlog, and I can't tell you how much that does for me, and that I love this outlet as feeling like I'm still part of the community of the world, and that helps a lot too. So that's, I guess, not so much a story as it was showing off our family photo from Thanksgiving, but encouraging everybody to do that, to get together with your family, but make sure you get that screen grab shot, because that's your photo, and that's documenting the reality of 2020, while we pray that 2021 will not be like that, and that we're not going to live through another holiday season that's on the computer more than it's in person. At this point, I will, as usual, ask you, if it's your first time here, subscribe. If it's not your first time here and you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. If you've been here before, you obviously like it. If you subscribe, it makes me feel good. Share the vlog and encourage other people to visit. And well, you can encourage them to subscribe too, because subscribing just makes me feel good. And I hope that you want to make people feel good, because I certainly do. I've found that making people smile is better than just about anything else in the world. So at this point, I'm going to say I hope you had a wonderful Hanukkah and a Merry Christmas, because this does debut on Christmas Day. A Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year, and a better new year for all of us. And I will be here next week, and I hope that you will be too. Thanks a lot, and have a great week.